wis suwe kangen sing tak rasake. Rasane koyo ngene. Ning kene aku ngenteni kowe. Aku kangenku mung kanggo kowe. Nalikane ing tirta nadi ngenteni tekani bis wayah wengi. Tanganmu tak kanthi kowe ngucap janji lunga mesti bali. Rasane ngitung nganti lali.
Ya, saya izin dari RC ya.
Ya, bisa Bapak.
Ya, siap. Karena ada beberapa kegiatan.
Ya, padat ya agendanya ya.
Boten ingkang padat kan Bu Rektor.
Enggak sih.
Siap. Saya monitor Bu Ririn.
Ya.
Siap. Sukses ya. Oke.
Ini Pak mau Pak Niko tuh. Coba langsung ngomong aja. Pak Niko udah ready.
Pak Niko.
Ya.
Pak Niko, apa kabar Pak Niko?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah ya Pak Niko, akhirnya ketemu lagi ya secara daring.
Iya. Ketemu di sini lagi.
Pak, kangen sama Jawa Timur orang Pak?
Ya kangen Bu. Saya nggak bisa pulang.
Ya kemarin ya.
Iya, bisa pulang
Iya,
kemarin
tapi...
baru bulan November ya.
Udah on air Pak.
Ya.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. How are you getting on? Hope you are fine. Alhamdulillah. Firstly, before we begin this event, let me inform to all participants who have joined in this today's international webinar. For all the participants, make sure you have filled the initial presents correctly from the link we have shared before. So to get the full facilities by completing this as one of the requirements for the international webinar today. Attention, please. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the international webinar entitled Strategies to Face COVID-19 Pandemic, Best Practice from Around the World. The respectable rector of AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, Ms. Riani Wulandari, SCUP and SMCUP, the Honorable Chief of Regional Management Council, National Association of Nursing, Region of Surakarta, Mr. Suminanto, SCUP NS, the Honorable Speakers, Ms. Norman Wijayagati, SCUP and SMCUP from AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, Mr. Niko Irawan from International College, University of Technology, Krungthep, Thailand, Mr. Hirai Naotaka from Yasuraki Society, Japan, and all beloved participants who have joined on this international webinar today. First of all, let's give thanks to our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His mercy, we all can gather and attend here by online without any doubt. Salawat and salam always for our great Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for his lightning and guiding to us to the right way of Islam. And as committee, we are very pleased to see you all online with us at this time. Secondly, let me read the rundown for today's international webinar. First, it is registration. Second is opening and singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya, continued by Mars Sang Surya and ended by Mars PPNE song. Third is welcoming speech, started by welcoming speech from the rector of AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, and then continued by the Chief of Regional Management Council, National Association of Nursing Region of Surakarta. Fourth is material delivery by the first speaker from Indonesia, Ms. Norman Wijayagati, SCUP and SMCUP, with the theme, Increase Self-Strength for Adapting the Impact of COVID-19. Fifth is material delivery by the second speaker, Mr. Niko Irawan from International College, University of Technology, Krungthep, Thailand, with the theme, Best Practices to Minimize COVID-19 Outbreak, Strategies to Face Impact Pandemic. Sixth is the material delivery by the last speaker, Mr. Hirai Naotaka from Yasuraki Society, Japan, with the theme, COVID-19 in Japan, Care for Elderly People. Seventh is discussion for question and answer. And the last is closing. Okay, for beginning the international webinar today, first, let's hear the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Now continued by the second song, Mars Sang Surya. And last, let's hear the song of Indonesia National Association of Nurse, Mars PPNI.
Persatuan Perawat Nasional Indonesia, wujud ikatan profesi perawatan, tempat membina dan mengembangkan kemampuan diri dalam membuktikan keberadaannya. Menapaklah dengan keyakinan lebih pasti, sejajar dalam abdikan diri, bangkit berdiri dan langkahkan kakimu itu, menatap hari esok penuh asa. Wahai perawat Indonesia, bangkitlah dan majulah untuk menolong sekalian yang menderita. Kuatkanlah pribadi, tingkatkan pengetahuan untuk memberikan asuhan keperawatan. Kita melangkah untuk mengisi pembangunan bangsa negara Indonesia, untuk mengantarkan bangsa menuju sehat semua dengan semangat jiwa Pancasila. Maju perawat, majulah dalam kancah pembangunan, tunjukkanlah pada sekalian orang. Jadilah perawat model kesehatan bangsa kita, jadilah teladan dalam hidup sehat. Bangkitlah perawat seluruh Indonesia dalam mengemban citra profesi, menjunjung tinggi kode etik keperawatan, laksanakan panggilan tugas mulia, mencapai derajat kesehatan seoptimal mungkin bagi warga negara Indonesia. Sebagai bukti kiprahnya mahkota putih suci dalam mendukung pembangunan kesehatan. Dengan organisasi PPNI yang kokoh, padu bersatu, serta selaras, perawat Indonesia akan mampu angkat citranya di mata insan dunia.
Yeah. Before we continue, welcome to Mr. Hirai Naotaka from Japan. You've connected to us now. Okay. Now we go to the next agenda, welcoming speech. First is welcoming speech from the rector of AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, Ms. Riani Wulandari, S-Cup and SM Cup. For Ms. Riani, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the Chief of Regional Management Council, National Association of Nursing, Surakarta, the Honorable Speakers, Mrs. Nurman Wijayagati as the first speaker, Mr. Nico as the second speaker, Mr. Hirai Naotaka as the third speaker, and distinguished international webinar participants. Let us give thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us blessings and mercies so we can attend and participate in this international webinar organized by AISYIYAH University of Surakarta. Greeting and salutation upon Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has taught us respectively in order to attain happy and prosperous life in this world and hereafter. Distinguished guests, we want to say a hard thank you to the Chief of the Regional Management Council, National Association of Nursing Surakarta, and all the honorable speakers for taking their time to share knowledge and experiences about the strategy to prevent the COVID-19 pandemic in this international webinar. This international webinar organized by AISYIYAH University of Surakarta is entitled Strategies to Face the Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic, Best Practice from Around the World. This theme was chosen because recently the world is shocked by COVID-19. The pandemic has spread to almost every region of the globe, and World Health Organization announced COVID-19 outbreak as a pandemic on 11 March 2020. Coronavirus is continuing its spread across the world, with more than 17 million confirmed cases in 188 countries. Nearly 700,000 people have lost their lives. The COVID-19 pandemic is affecting on several sectors, like in education, health, and economics. The COVID-19 pandemic is first and foremost a health crisis. This pandemic has spread with alarming speed, infecting millions and bringing economic activity to near standstill as countries impose tight restrictions on movement to halt the spread of the virus. As the health and human toll grows, the economic damage is already evident and represents the largest economic shock the world has experienced in decades. Many countries have decided to close schools, colleges, and universities. The crisis crystallizes the dilemma policymakers are facing between closing schools, reducing contact and saving lives, and keeping them open, allowing workers to work and maintaining the economy. We hope this international webinar could share some new knowledge and information to the society, college students, lecturers, nurses, and medical staff to be able to carry out various strategies for dealing the COVID-19 pandemic in various sectors, both the education and health sectors. We hope this international webinar will run smoothly. We would like to extend a hard congratulations to everyone who participated in this webinar. We hope all of you can get many benefits from this event. We apologize for any mistakes our remark may have caused. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Riani Wulandari for opening welcoming speech. Let's see the commercial breaks before. Okay, next, the second welcoming speech is from the Chief of Regional Management Council, Indonesian National Association of Nursing, Region of Surakarta, Mr. Suminanto, SKEP NS. For Mr. Suminanto, time is yours.
Thanks for the host, Mr. Rizky. Terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and all best wish. PPNI maju bersama, sukses bersama. Together we step forward and together we reach success. The Honor Rector of AISYIYAH University of Surakarta. Good morning, Miss Riani Wulandari. Dan Mr. and Miss, the International Conference, keynote speaker. Good morning, Miss Nurman Wijayagati, Lecturer of Nursing AISYIYAH, University of Surakarta. Good morning, Mr. Niko Irawan from International University of Technology, Thailand. Good morning, Mr. Hire Nautaka, as the board of director of the NPO of Japanese Medical Care Network. The honor of the steering committee and the guys, all participants of this international conference. First of all, let us be grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all the blessing, and so that on today we can be joined in order to participate of this international conference in a very good condition. Ladies and gentlemen and participants of this international conference, we PPNI as a profession organization very welcome and giving the high appreciation that this international conference can be done. It fit with the working program of PPNI operational in achieving mission in order to create the professionalness, prosperous, and dignified. Taking care the human resource, talk, seminar, symposium, workshop, and also applying the development of nursing, skill, and technology. And also and also as a profession organization, helpfully this scientific activities can be done continually. First, to increase the nurse ability and competence. Also, the second one as the requirement for re-registration of nurse certification as step in nursing law. Ladies and gentlemen and participants of this international conference, strategies to face the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Best practice from around the work is an international conference excellent team related to duties and responsibilities in COVID-19 service. All will be presented and discussed by expert source. Ladies and gentlemen, participants of this international conference, once again, on behalf of PPNI organization, I would like to say thank you and highly appreciation to the first one, Miss Riani Wulandari, Director of AISYIYAH University Surakarta. The second and all not speaker, Miss Nurman Wijayagati, Mr. Niko Irawan, Mr. Iren Nautaka, all new speaker who willing deliver the good material for this seminar. So last but not least, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, we wish this seminar are going successfully. PPNI maju bersama, sukses bersama, together we step forward and together we reach success. Thank you. Good morning and all peace wish. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Suminanto for welcoming speech for today's international webinar. Now it's time for the main agenda of international webinar today. It is the material delivery by the speakers. For information, for guiding all the participants in material delivery and discussion session, there will be Ms. Lianawati from AISYIYAH University of Surakarta as the moderator. Before it, let me read the summary for the curriculum vitae of Ms. Lianawati. Ms. Lianawati is a fresh graduate for Master of Public Health at Khon Kaen University, Thailand. Then bachelor degree and diploma 3 degree in midwifery at Unisa, Yogyakarta. Besides that, she is also having great interpersonal communication, excellent writing ability, analytical knowledge, research skills, understanding of economics also help, and having English proficiency test result is about 577 for TOEFL ETP. Okay, that's a summary for Mrs. Liana CV. Now it's time for me to leave for a while and will be continued by Ms. Lianawati as the moderator. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizky Listianto. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Conference, Strategies to Face the Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic, Best Practice from Around the World. Thank you all for finding time to visiting today's conference. My name is Liana Wati and I will be serving as your moderator today. We have three presentations. First, from Ms. Norman Wijayakanti from AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, Indonesia. And then Mr. Niko Irawan, International College Raja Mangala University of Technology, Krung Thep, Thailand. And then Mr. Hirai Naotaka, as the Board of Director of the NPO Corporation Japanese Medical Care Network, Japan. As a part of effort to provide you with timely topics and interesting speakers, we appreciate it if you would fill out the attendance and evaluation form provided by link on sharing screen that we shared before. And please mute the microphone or video. If you have any questions during the presentation, just write them to chat. This conference will be conducted in panel by 3 speakers, where each speaker will present for 1 hour. All questions can be written in the chat and will be summarized and answered in the end of the session. Now, moving along to our first session with Ms. Norman Wijayakanti as a lecturer of nursing. She is a specialist mental health nursing in AISYIYAH University of Surakarta, Indonesia, who will be speaking on us about mental health issues. For Ms. Norman Wijayakanti, please welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Liana Wati. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rector AISYIYAH University of Surakarta with the Ordinate, the Honorable Mr. Suminanto as the Chief of District Board Indonesian National Nurses Association of Surakarta, the Honorable Speaker Mr. Niko from International College Raja Mangala University of Technology, Krung Thep, Thailand. Mr. Hirai Naotaka as the Board of Director of the NPO Corporation Japanese Medical Care Network, and all the attendants. May Allah give us blessing and may our day fill of joy and happiness. Allow me to introduce myself. My name Norman Wijayakanti. You can call me Gati. I am a lecturer of AISYIYAH University and my specialty is in psychiatric nursing. I'd love to sharing and discuss about mental health issues. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever imagined that 1 of 4 people in worldwide affected by a mental disorder? Well, I'm telling you that number actually not to update because that number was before pandemic. And what happened today during this pandemic affect the whole world? The number must be increased. But the problem is not in number and how many people affected, but the point is how to survive during this pandemic. If the number getting higher and higher, it means we have to take an action to help others. But before, excuse me, it's a little bit disrupting here. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay, Mr. Lianawati, am I clearly enough? My voice is clear enough? Okay, okay then. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the disrupting. Well, I said earlier that if the number getting higher and higher, it means that we have to take action to help others. But before we do that, we have to be prepared ourselves as an individual. That's why today I'd like to share you about increasing self-strength for adapting the impact of COVID-19. Why it is important to talking about self-strength? Maybe all the attendants here have heard about self-strength or its definition. Well, ladies and gentlemen, actually, that's not the point anyway. Well, pandemic is our problem now. It is not a person's problem anymore, but it is a collective problem. It means that what affected to somebody out there, it is our responsible to help them so that they can survive. They can increase their health status and help them to cope with the problem. So if it has become our responsible, it means much for us. It means that we have to be ready in all aspects. We have to be healthy before we help others or to educate others to be healthy. Healthy here means both mentally and physically, because it seems impossible to help others when we are not healthy. How can we educate people to wash their hands or to wear their masks when we are not doing all that stuff? People will not believe in us, and the point to educate people will not success. Behavioral therapy and mental health say that we as a health practitioner must take an action as a role model. It means that we show the best of us in every day so that people will watch and learn from us. And when we show the best of us in every day, people will begin to trust. And in mental health, trust means a lot. When people trust to us as a health practitioner, when we say something to do or ask people to change their habit, they will automatically do as we ordered to do. Slide. Okay. And back to preparing ourselves to increase our strength, let's discuss first about the definition of mental health. Slide. Okay, thank you. Mental health is a state of well-being associated with happiness, contentment, satisfaction, achievement, optimism, or hope. And mental health is also a condition that a person can develop as a person physical, mental, spiritual, and social. It is a complex definition that to have mental health is not only about mentally healthy, but it is also health as a physic too. When people do so, then people will aware about their own abilities. People could cope with pressure and work productive and capable to contribute to the group. Based on that definition, let us check ourselves and answer this question. What about my condition now? Am I happy? Am I gratitude about what I get today, what I get yesterday, what I think about my future? Is it bright or not? Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot confine to a simple concept or a single aspect of behavior. But talking about mental health incorporates a number of criteria that exist on a continuum with gradient and degrees. They are not absolute, and each person has their own limit. No one reaches the ideal in all criteria, but we can attempt, yes, we can attempt to approach the optimum. Here are criteria of mental health. There are 6 criteria of mental health. Firstly is positive attitude towards self. Here means that a person must have objectivity about self-realistic aspiration. Person know what they're capable of and what they need to increase. For example, I'm good at some point, but I need to increase on something else, but I still feel okay and I still gratitude for everything I have. That's what we call positive attitude. Secondly is growth, self-actualization, and resilience. This means that we can show to others about our capabilities, and when we have bad situation, we could bounce back to our optimum status. For example, I'm good at math, but I'm good at math and people know and admit my capacity. That's what I call it is a self-actualization. Thirdly is integration. Integration means there is equality between what is inside our mind and what we've spoken to others. For example, when we feel disappointed, then our behavior show that we are disappointed. So there is a matching there. There is a matching between what is inside me and what is my feeling and what my behavior to show to others. So people will see that we are disappointed, that I am disappointed. Fourthly, autonomy. In this criteria, autonomy means as a person, we have autonomy to do or to make our own decision without depending on other people. For a simple example here, I would say that today, I have my own decision. I am not depending on others to make decision whether today I'd like to wearing blue or red shoes. I will consider my own perception and I'll make my own decision. Okay, now go to the first criteria of mental health is reality perception. Reality perception is the individual ability to test assumption about word and change perception based on new information. In this criteria include empathy, social sensitivity, and respect others' feeling and attitude. The last one is environmental mastery. In this criteria, allow mentally healthy person to feel success in an approved role in society. It means that the person can deal effectively with the world and obtain satisfaction from life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after we know about the definition of mental health, let us go to the pandemic impact to mental health. Okay, slide. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about COVID-19, COVID-19 is a disaster, and disaster here means a serious event triggered by either natural or human-made causes. This disaster leading to a crisis that brings widespread impact, including damage to the environment itself and then human causality and physical and psychological trauma. There are psychological reactions to the disaster cover the loss of infrastructure, economics, assets, health services, casualty, and individual function. But again, the degree of disruption can change from mild anxiety, PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, which is usually people will experience this PTSD after exposed with a disaster or traumatic event. Suicidality and severe depression may also appear in someone or somebody affected. Ladies and gentlemen, more than half of individuals exposed with disaster will develop psychiatric symptoms immediately after disaster. That's why during this pandemic, the number of mental disorders might increase. But individual reaction towards stress vary according to age, gender, ethnicity, religious background, personality, and coping skill. And there are some mediators of stress response who people can develop their coping skill. Those are stressors, perception, personality, social support, culture, and spiritual belief. When stressor comes to somebody, people will evaluate. People will evaluate the stressor, whether it is hard or not for them. And to interpret that stressor, individual will use their own perception. And of course, that perception will be affected by their personalities. And people personality come from learning to respond to the stressor itself every day from babies until today. And culture and spiritual belief become the mediator too. When individuals evaluate the stressor based on the culture and spiritual that they had been taught before by their family and society. Social support take rules to maintain coping resources so that individual could cope with the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, during this pandemic, we need to be strong and capable to adapt for any changes out there. We have to survive. Dealing with COVID-19 is not easy, but it is still possible for us to dealing with it successfully. I will share to you about enhancing physical immunity and mental health endurance and psychosocial. Both of them are essential. Both of them are essential to help us survive in this pandemic. Slide. Okay, this is what I mean that we will discuss about enhancing physical immunity and mental health endurance. Okay, slide. Now we go to the increasing physical immunity. Okay, to increase physical immunity, we can do this thing, which is easy to do without spending a lot of budget, of course. First, we have to eat nutritious food and get enough water, at least 2 liters per day, but it is depend on your activity. You may need more water when you have fever on you in a high activity. The second one is do exercise. Just ladies and gentlemen, beware. Please do not do this exercise too much. Just do the exercise based on your body tolerance. And doing this exercise means not too much to take the exercise. You just make sure that you have moved your body every day. And to increase physical immunity, please do this preventative action. Okay, the preventative action include washing our hand at least 20 seconds, wearing our mask, avoiding touching or rubbing your face area before hand washing, and maintain distance when we in the public area. That's for the physical immunity. Now go to the next slide, ladies and gentlemen. Besides maintain physical health, we also have to maintain our mental health. Here are some strategies to keep our mind clear as possible. The first is positive emotion. To make positive emotion, you just have to keep your mind happy. You may doing your hobby or doing something else, something that makes you happy, but just please make sure do not hurt other. What I mean is make yourself happy and safe for other people. Making your thinking positive, it is important too during this pandemic. It is normal for us to have fear, anxiety, and stress. But keeping our mind positive can help us to resilience. What we can do to make positive thinking is like recalling a happy memory or doing self-talk. Of course, positive one. Just say simple, specific, and positive words such as, I can handle my job, or this pandemic will over soon, or I am a happy person, or anything else, just to make a positive thinking. Maybe you have another word to say it based on yours. And to make positive thinking, Don't forget to be gratitude for everything we have. Please be specific. If you're difficult to say how to gratitude, you may say specific word such as Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, I can eat this delicious rice, or Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin for this warm jacket, or you may say anything based on yours. But this word must be positive. When we have positive thinking, then our feeling become better and positive too. That's what we need to make our body produce endorphin. When endorphin release, then the stress and anxiety become decreased. Keeping mind positive will lead positive behavior. During this pandemic, we have to be calm. Calm here doesn't mean not to worrying nor caring about the risks and consequences. And calm doesn't mean not to do preventative action, but calm means taking action, but under control. And make sure it is safe for you and other people, because calm can help us to activate problem-solving skill. Okay. We are suggested to maintain distance, but it doesn't mean that we have to separate for distance. But we can make positive social relation. We can use technology to meet others, to get closer to someone far away from us and make our day entertaining. Or we can also use greeting habit to make positive social relation, such as when we meet someone, say something positive and full of hope. For example, "Hey Lucy, you look great today, and I'm sure that you will always healthy and great every day." And I think I am not talking about positive behavior yet. Okay, positive behavior during this this pandemic. Okay, I think I have talked about it. But what I try to tell you is positive behavior is needed for us. We really need to have a positive behavior. But before it, we have to take our mind positive first. That's what I'm trying to highlight in this improving mental health endurance thing. And last but not least, make positive spiritual. We can keep on praying, keep on close to Allah. Bismillah, ladies and gentlemen. We can face this pandemic together, and inshallah, we and our family will save. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my presentation with reading quote from Einstein. Okay, slide please. Okay, the quote from Einstein. Okay, here it is. He said that the measure of intelligence is ability to change. We, as a human being, have intelligence. And if someone have intelligence, then we all here can changes into a better person, into a better way of life. That's what actually we need to do today during this pandemic, so that we can survive. Although this pandemic is still a big problem, yes, it is still a big problem, but we are bigger, and because we're bigger than that, we can face it together. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all that I can share to you in this occasion. Thank you very much, and see you again. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Norman Wijayakati, for addressing this interesting topic. We mentioned that healthy is not only about physically, but also about mental health, spiritual, and of course about social. Concern about mental health is about thinking and perception. For this pandemic, change is everything, not only about physically, but also psychological disaster. So, adaptation is the way how to survive. For ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question for this presentation, please can be written in the chat and will be summarized and answered in the end of the session. We directly moving around to our second session with Mr. Niko Irawan. Mr. Niko Irawan is Assistant Dean in International College of Raja Mangala University of Technology Krungthep, or UTK, Thailand since 2019. He also became a head International Affairs in International College of Raja Mangala University of Technology Krungthep, or UTK, Thailand since 2018 until 2019. Full-time lecturer in ICUTK since 2014 and educational consultant since 2011. For Mr. Niko Irawan, who will be speaking to us about best practice to minimize COVID-19 outbreak, please welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the Rector of Universitas AISYIYAH Surakarta, and the Honorable, the first speaker, Miss Norman Wijagati, and then the third speaker is Mr. Naotakai Hirai. Okay, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Niko Irawan. I am the lecturer in ICUTK, or you can say International College of Raja Mangala University of Technology Krungthep, Thailand. I have been in Thailand since 2014 until now, and I am the full lecturer also here. And this is the second event for me to speak in AISKA, Universitas AISYIYAH Surakarta. And thank you so much for the opportunity here. Okay, I would like to talk about the COVID-19 outbreak in Thailand. Since 2019, the end of December and January in Thailand, happened the one case the end of January before the New Year festival, Chinese New Year festival. Okay, please next. Okay, sorry. Okay. this is the story of the tragedy of the COVID-19 outbreak. For the first is the December happened in China, in Wuhan especially, and the Chinese alert WHO had organizations around December. But in Thailand, almost the third week of January, there is one female from China come to Thailand, and that is the imported case for the first time in Thailand. And at the time in Thailand, the people of Thai people and also me exactly aware of the impact of COVID-19. So we wear a mask even in the end of January. And January 1st, January 7th, and January 11th happened in China. And in Thailand, January 13th. After 1 week happened in Thailand, the government informed that there is the case 1, 2 until 7 at that time. So everyone here is worried about the COVID-19 because automatically we'll have a lot of victims in Thailand. Until January 29, this the death of toll until 132,000. Okay, next. And as you know that there's the comparisons between the continent among the continents such as Asia, Europe, North America, Middle East until Africa. You will see there is the chart. The North America is high, and then Asia, including Indonesia, including Thailand, Philippines also. Now the higher case in Philippines, and the second one is Indonesia. And we can see from America also, the Latin America or Caribbean also a lot. There is the increasing case every month from January, no case, until July last month. Okay, next. In Thailand, after we have one case until the seventh case, the government informed. The government has the timeline respond because they think that this is very dangerous issue in Thailand before become the pandemic, still epidemic at the time, and still January until March, they have the timeline. From the timeline, the third January 31st January, the first local, and then until March, they try to activate the disease of emergency. Like the Thai government try to set up the informations, everyday informations that how many cases increase every day until May. Now in August, new normal, everything is normal as usual, but still follow the health protocol. You will see 17 March, Thailand closed high-risk place and business emergency decree. They declare the emergency decree after 17 March to 24 March. It means that everything should be closed. This is not lockdown. It's like partial lockdown, but they limit the people mobility. And then after that, after May, go to June, but they have the timeline for the relax. It means that after several months, March, April to May, and to June, the case is decreased. The case was decreased until one number, such as every day only 3, only 4, or 7 sometimes. So until now, around 3,000 cases in Thailand. Okay, next. And then why the case is decreased in Thailand? Because during COVID-19 pandemic, Thai government announced to all Thai people or Thai society or foreigner also in Thailand to follow to obey the government policy, such as must wear the mask, and then do not go outside in the evening. Just go if you need to buy something, especially the logistic, and keep the social distancing and respect distancing. But the culture of Thai people is follow the government, always follow obey the seniority. So that's why they obey everything rule in Thailand. Okay, next. And then this is the emergency decree. While Thai people, Thai government informed, announced to all Thailand society that start 24 March is emergency decree. It means that for foreigner already stranded in Thailand, especially tourists, they cannot go abroad because sorry, they cannot go abroad because the border is closed, and then no flight. So the activity only inside Thailand. They cannot go abroad, and from abroad cannot enter Thailand. And also they have curfew. Curfew means jam malam in Indonesia, 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. If you go outside, you need to pay 40,000 baht, or in rupiah around uh, 20 million rupiah around. Or you are in prison around 1 year. So it's the strict rule for everyone. And for tourists, no need to extend visa, no need to 90 days, no need to pay like an overstay. They just stay here until the end of July, 31st July. But now there is the extension until September. All tourists already stranded in Thailand should go outside because there are some repatriation flights, such as going to Indonesia, going to Europe, going to that country. So that is the rule of emergency decree. Next. And then this is the do or do not, do or don't in the emergency decree, such as the do, you need to social distancing. Yes, everywhere we need to do that, 1 to 2 meter, and then avoid the cross the province. So if you stay in Bangkok, just stay in Bangkok. Do not go to another provinces. And then please always use or bring the passport or national ID card, because every province they have got to check where are you come from. And then for the people 70 years up or under 5 years, do not go anywhere, just stay at home. And also if you go to the country, you need to have the health certificate. And please don't enter the area at risk. At that time, the area at risk is Bangkok, because Bangkok is the capital city. Many tourists, many foreigners stay in Bangkok. And then Chiang Mai, the second Chiang Mai. But the other province still not red zone, around orange or yellow zone. But now everything almost green zone. And then the established which are allowed to open, such as the hospital and clinic and the logistic and others like a market. Okay, next. From the emergency decree, and Thai government success to do the emergency decree until the end of June, and now try to go to the new normal. The new normal, everything still restricted, everything not easy. I mean that not very normal. I mean the new normal is everything changed from before COVID-19 and now COVID-19. Go on. Such as the social distancing, and then they try to reduce vulnerability, reduce transmission, reduce contact. So better stay at home. But Now we already go to the office. Office and school already open for public, but still have the physical or social distancing. Okay, go on. And this is the always keeping each other safe and connected is everyone responsibility. And I mean that for the children should understand anxiety and then focus on what you control and be physically apart yet social close. This is for the children, must be aware. And for the parents, also aware for the children, like embrace your emotion and share love, not hate, like that. This is physical distancing and wearing a mask. The people still wear in Thailand. They obey everything. Next. What about type people perspective? Type people perspective in new normal. The first, yeah, the COVID outbreaks, they are shocked and they try to realize that it's very danger for everyone. If they infected the COVID-19, of course, they try to transfer to the other human, like a human transmission. And they try to respond by adaptation. You know, the tourism business, some people are collapsed because they don't have the gas from foreigner from China. So stop for a while. They try to respond and try to re-entry, try to change the business from tourism into the selling the product and try to reimagine. From the reimagine in the new normal, they follow the government and they do the best for the health and follow everything the regulation. Go on. This is the impact of new normal. In the new normal, the Thai government has the like apps. When you come to the shopping mall, you need to scan. The name is Thai Chana. Why? They want to know your location and they want to when you visit the place and need the survey. What about the place? Maybe the place still no have the hand sanitizer or the people no wear the mask. So the government will check by your survey. This is the function of Taichan application. So when you come to shopping mall, you come to some places it's important you need to scan the barcode or QR. Next, they have they have the same activity like usual, but they still wear the mask. They do the social distancing like this in BTS, in MRT, and others. So the Thai people still keep the social distancing. Go on. When you come to the restaurant and then the places, the train, still keep the social distancing. In this picture in June, after the emergency decree still open for everyone, but still follow the rule of health protocol like this. Go on. And then in June, economic recovery means that not all business area, but like a clinic, tattoo shop, body piercing shops, still follow the health protocol starting from 1st June. So everything step by step, Thai government introduce the health protocol well to the Thai society, Thai citizen and foreigner here to follow, and they try to open the business. Go on. What about the new normal in the world? I think the same situation. The new normal in Indonesia, in Thailand are the same. Perhaps when you work in the office and you work at home, it's a little different. Several months, around 4 months, I work from home in Thailand, and then now I work from office, not from home, but still the new normal. Everything different, such as when you want to meet the people abroad, now you cannot. there are many restrictions for that. Go on. And when you want to fly, I think the same in Indonesia, also the same. You want to fly to abroad, you need to have the health certificate clarifying no risk of COVID. And if I want to go to Indonesia, the same story. I need to be checked the swab or PCR test like that. I need to follow to protect myself from the coronavirus, because even in Thailand, low case, around 148 case in Thailand only, but we still be careful of the second wave or something. Go on. This is the regulations. Is if the foreigner wants to enter Thailand, but I think they have the limitations. Not all foreigner can come to Thailand. They have limitation. Tourists especially still not allowed. Only the work permit people like me, or have a spouse in Thailand, has a wife or husband from Thailand, diplomat and everything, but not tourists. This is the protocol. They need to have, they need to check your from the certificate of entry, passport, have insurance, and COVID. Need to report to the embassy. Next. And then the rule, the protocol to enter the Thailand, because Thai government still focus on the repatriation Thai society, like in staying in Indonesia, in some country, they can come back to Thailand, but they still stop for the tourists, the people, or if they have work permit, maybe they have permission to the work permit people to enter Thailand, but need to submit all document like this, and need to book the hotel to quarantine. And they, like me, I need to pay by myself, of course. Yeah, to the hospital or to hotel. Next. And then for this, the instruction for the people already come back to Thailand, the Thai government still check the people tested and PCR, and they need to follow the protocol. Go on. And then in the new normal again, in July, Thai government allow for all school in Thailand and university to open the school or open the university, if possible. Yeah, if possible. And they want start the 1st July. So the school already come back to school, the university already come back to study in the class. But for my student, they are still in China, in Cambodia, in Korea. They cannot come back to Thailand. So we still have online class. But for the local student, like a Thai people, they can study in the class. So we have mixed hybrid learning in the class and online class. And they must scan the more chana. The more chana, they can know the risk, low risk or high risk in that area. Go on. And then the economic, slowly but surely already awake, like from the restaurant, the open air market, and the water market, and beauty and hair salon already like usual. But they still wear the mask. Yeah, and hand sanitizer always in that mall or in the place. The medical clinic, until the shopping groom, pet groom, they already open. Okay, next. And come back to school the 1st July. For 1 month, the Thai government still check. And we are worried there are the second wave of COVID-19 again, because sometimes in the school, if they do not obey the regulation, the protocol, I think everything will be chaos. But for 1 month, everything still smooth. Yeah, we coming back to the school, and then we check one by one with the thermal gun, like that. Go on. And then the last is we need to be friendly with COVID-19. even there are many cases, but we need to follow the government, obey the government regulations, still social distancing, respect distancing, use the hand sanitizer, and always clean the hand, and try to limit the eye contact. Well, with the 1 meter is better, or 2 meter. When you communicate with other people, try to respect distancing, because if we do not do like that, of course, COVID-19 will come again and come again. It's not easy to eliminate the COVID-19 if there are a lot of cases again. Okay, next. Thank you so much for these presentations. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nico Irawan, for this interesting topic. You mentioned that Thailand have a first case in intermediate of January, and why Thailand can handle it fastly, because the people follow every single thing, the rule made by government. And the government used the emergency decree to solve it. And even the new normal in there, everything is not really normal in Thailand. For ladies and gentlemen, the attendance and evaluation form provided in link by share screen and chat. If you have any question for this presentation, can be written in the chat and will be summarized and answered in the end of the session.
LPK Bahana Inspirasi Muda berdiri di Kota Bandung, Jawa Barat. Sejak tahun 2014, LPK Bahana Inspirasi Muda melatih dan mengirimkan tenaga kesehatan Indonesia untuk menjadi care worker atau perawat lansia dan nurse atau perawat medis ke Jepang. Hingga kini sudah ada 372 alumni yang bekerja dan kuliah di Jepang melalui program AISYIYAH, Ryugakusei, serta Ginojisei. LPK Bahana Inspirasi Muda terus berkomitmen untuk mengirimkan tenaga kerja profesional Indonesia yang memiliki mental, disiplin, karakter, dan skill untuk berkarir di kancah internasional.
I'm sorry for a little bit trouble. Our last speaker today is Mr. Hirai Naotaka from Japanese with the topic of care for elderly people. Mr. Hirai Naotaka is the board of director of the NPO Corporation Japanese Medical Care Network. Mr. Hirai Naotaka also have a board of director of the Yasuragi Society and director of the Kyoki Kai Elderly Home in Okayama Prefecture. He also was advertising agency at the Asahi Shimbun Seibu headquarters Social Welfare Association in Jukukai Sudaka Dormitory and in the Yasuragi Society. For Mr. Hirai Naotaka, I'm so sorry for my Japanese pronunciation and please welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, good morning. Selamat pagi. And Mr. Nico Irawan, Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap. Ohayou gozaimasu.
Thank you for inviting me in this international conference. I'm a president of nursing home, Senju no Sato. Okay. Sorry, next. Oh, sorry. I explain the situation of COVID-19 in my nursing home. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Oh, sorry.
Clear.
Firstly, please let me introduce my nursing home to you all. My nursing home's name is Senju no Sato. And Kayama is in west area in Japan and located next to Kobe. And it takes to Osaka by Shinkansen, 45 minutes. Nursing home has 64 beds. The number of elderly people use the daycare center is about 9,000 in a year. And the home help service about 1,000 and about 600 disabled people use our nursing home. And I have the project for elderly people to be anti-aging in Vietnam and give the consultation of Japanese management system as elderly care in Taiwan. And next. Now, 6 Indonesian care workers work in my nursing home. I really thank them so much. They have plenty talent of care for elderly people. Other Japanese workers can learn many things from them. Terima kasih. Next. Okay. I'll show you it and the new one. Can you see it? You can get to know when you see this data. There are not so many deaths in Japan by coronavirus as compared with Indonesia. But actually, most Japanese are so tired and disappointed because the number of infected people is still increasing. And next. We have to follow the rule and the policy of Japanese government not to spread in the infectious disease. We are given the 7 policies. I will explain the first and the second later on. The third means a lack of workers. If we need staff to care of elderly people, Japanese government support us with money to employ. The fourth means supply mask, face shield, and disinfectant. The fifth means that Japan has a special system for elderly people who need nursing care and nursing care service. Now, I'll explain this system when I visit Indonesia next time because it's quite complicated, so it's hard to explain, to need much time to explain. The sixth and the seventh also complicated, so maybe next time, maybe. And next. Number one, basic methods. You know the standard precautions, you know. Firstly, we have to follow the standard precaution, and we have to follow the transmission on based precaution. We have to do two ways precautions. And next. And the policy, matters concern the prevention of spread infection. This policy from Japanese government means it's important not to bring coronavirus into the nursing home. Now, Tokyo, Osaka, and other big cities are troubled because there are not enough medical staff. So the government has to keep and save the medical scene. Next. Thank you. Okay, correspondence to elderly people. I'll tell you some example. If the old person has any other following symptoms, call the returning contact person, telephone consultation center. For the elderly and those with underlying illness, diabetes, sorry, and heart failure, respiratory illness. If the temperature is 37.5 temperature or higher, or respiratory symptoms continue for 2 days or longer. If the temperature is 37.5 or higher, or respiratory symptoms continue for 4 days or more, they have to call consultation center by telephone. Next. We conducted the simulation assuming that coronavirus had occurred a few times in nursing home. It's very important that, so we often prepare to occur the coronavirus. Next. Sorry, back. Sorry, back. Sorry. Most Japanese are so disappointed with the Japanese government. So many local governments do their original policy and make the rules. For example, Tokyo Governor Ms. Koike has a strong leadership and is popular with the citizens of Tokyo. And Osaka Governor Mr. Yoshimura is a young governor. He is also popular with the citizens of Osaka. But the number of infected people is still increasing in Tokyo and Osaka. I hope that we get over this COVID-19. And I'm looking forward to meeting you next time in Indonesia. Well, thank you so much for listening. Terima kasih, Kopen Club, and arigatou gozaimasu. It's okay.
Arigatou gozaimasu, Mr. Hirai Naotaka, for this interesting topic. You mentioned that Japan have a strategies to prevent the coronavirus, of course, and make sure people follow the rule from the government. And thank you very much for all presenters for the information interesting talk. And very well, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to question and answer session. We already have a few questions. And if you have any question again, or if you have any question that want to join to our discussion, please just write down in the chat. We will show the question in the share screen. For first question is for Ms. Kati. The question is, as a nurse, how do we deal with the depression and when we are ostracized by our friends?
Ostracized. Okay, thank you for the question. Interesting one.
Okay. Thank you for the question. It is interesting about talking about being ostracized and depression, right, Mr. Liana? Depression and ostracized. Okay. Both of them are stressor, and the other one is coping response. The stressor is being ostracized, and the response is depression itself. This will be a long discussion of defining about those problems, but first, let us check at the problem of being ostracized. Being ostracized in this case can caused by stigma, and stigma itself is still a big problem in our society, especially as a nurse who work in a hospital who have a high risk of exposure to COVID-19. But I think to reduce that stigma, we need to educate the whole community about COVID-19 and its prevention. Stigma is still become our collective responsibility. One thing that we can do is educate the community. And to educate the community, we can use media that can bring people closer and communicate broadly. But still, it is need awareness from each person and community. In order to suppress the stigma, we must start from ourselves, of course. We're starting at understanding about concept of COVID-19. And when we understanding about the concept COVID-19, then we can educate our closest people. For example, our family member. Maybe we have, for example, we have 4 family members. We will educate the whole family member, and each of 4 person will educate their closest people again. So it will be evenly distributed, but to doing that strategy, it will take time, I think. And handling about stigma is also require cross-sectional collaboration to educate the public. And if necessary, regulation must be adhered strongly, I think. And I think that's what we can do to reduce stigma in our society. And the next one is, when the stigma is high and people are ostracized, depression may occur to people who has negative coping response. If someone or people get depressed, what should we do then? The answer is simple. If we know that a person is depressed, just find help to a mental health services. That's the safest one. When a person is depressed, it means that he needs help. he needs help. So the safest one is find help to mental health services. But if the closest person of him, it is our responsible, of course, to help him to cope with the problem. We can help him by meeting his daily need, restore his confidence, and then practice his ability and actualize himself. Discussing about achieving future expectation may be needed too to help him to resilience. Talking about the present treatment, we can use drugs such as antidepressant and of course supported by other modality treatment to control symptoms and increase the ability to cope with the problem. I think that's all that I can answer for that question. Hope my explanation can answer the question. Thank you, Ms. Liana.
Thank you very much, Ms. Norman. This is about stereotype or stigma for nursing in hospital. I want to mention again that this one is about health literacy, right, to handle the depression, and also for educate people about how to face this COVID mentally, right? And then we have a second question for still with Ms. Norman. Yes, we still have several questions again.
Okay.
Again, we will show it in on share or send screen, yes. So, talk about stereotype for nursing in hospital. It's happening also, right, in Indonesia, not only in the world, right?
Yes. It is still high in our society, talking about the stigma.
Stigma, because people not really mention about literacy, they don't understand very well about COVID-19 and how to face it. So they just give the stereotype and also stigma. That's why nurse have quite hard to face it and also make everyone like, oh my God, if you're nursing and you work in hospital, everyone will thinking for negative thing for you. Okay, that we're still waiting for the second session, second question. And then while waiting the second session, or I mean the second question for Miss Kathy, for everyone or ladies and gentlemen that you want include in this discussion, you can just write down in the chat, and also you can ask the question for Miss Kathy also, and also for Mr. Hirai, and also for Mr. Nico, and then we will summarize, and also we will show in the share screen after this. Okay, because a little bit trouble, I'm sorry. This one, the question is for Mr. Nico first. It's okay, Miss Kathy?
It's okay.
Thank you. Sawadee Miss Nico, Mr. Nico. This question for you is about, I work in Menara PPD Pekanbaru. And then PPD is quite like some organization, and then 3 employees declare positive COVID-19, then all employees are stopped work for a week. Is it effective to control the transmission to prevent also? Thank you. For Ms.
Okay,
Nico,
thank you very much. I think to stop a work is better 1 week or 2 weeks until 3 weeks until everything no case again, because you know the human transmission is so quick to other people. If there are 3 cases in Pekanbaru, right, in BPD Pekanbaru, I think better stop 1 week or 2 weeks, because I don't work for 4 months since March 17 March until I work again 20 July. You can imagine, I just stay at home. I don't go to the office, maybe go to the office, take the document 1 day for, I just come to office once a month. Better we limit the social distancing first and stop the social distancing by stay at home. And if you go outside wearing the mask, better, because if you don't wear the mask, we don't know there is still a virus or no. But in Thai, people, Thai society, all when you come to Thailand, when you stay in Thailand now, some people wear mask. Even there is no information in the local that you need to wear the mask, but we aware of our health that is very dangerous. So that's why from the question, if there are three, even one case declare that in your office that need to be stopped for a while. Just work from home is better. Better you keep your health than you transfer to another people. Like that. This is my experience in Thailand because from Thailand, Thai people always wear the mask. And if there is one case, the office must be quarantine or stop work 1, 2, or 3 weeks until everything no case again. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ms. Nico. This is realized that 1 week only is not really enough, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
maximum 2 or 3 weeks until you are tested again.
Okay, at least 2 or 3 weeks. So this one is answer the question of course. And then we have another question. This question for Mr. Nico again. My name is Diko. The question for Mr. Nico. Do all these know about the self-isolation protocol and how many days a person has the quarantine after arriving from COVID-19 affected area? This one is really similar with the first
Yes.
question, Mr. Nico.
Okay. Usually, I will answer. Usually 14 days. Yeah, 14 days, and the third day, 3 days, you are tested PCR swab, and then if negative, you can quarantine 14 days, and then if you still negative, 7 days again. I think it's clean. Or if you want to be safe, 1 month, like that. But 14 days is enough, I think. Like that. I did the same. I already informed what the quarantine around 14 days in my slide.
Okay, so at least 14 days, and then we need to 3 days in the third just like swab test to make sure everything right.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, and then another question. We still have one question again. Does Thailand wear a cloth mask like Indonesian?
Yes, I think I have a like this. This is also a clothes mask. Also, and Thai people wear it. I also wear it to be safe. Yeah, the same in Indonesia. But in Indonesia, a lot of design. You will see there is the mustache here and everything. I never find in Thailand like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
to
maybe there
make
is, but I
everything.
never find in some shopping mall. Only the color is black, is nature black or white like that, or gray. But it's different from Indonesia. Indonesia, oh, many design is very good.
It's very good. I will
Creative.
send it to you after this.
Yeah, thank you.
So, so it means that the cloth mask is quite effective also.
I think effective. Yeah, if you think that is not effective, you have the medical mask and double with the mask, clothes mask.
Or like using two
Yes.
mats in the same time.
That's right.
Okay, we have another question. Once again, I always say it once again, I'm sorry, because everything is interesting with you. And this question is about like, I will ask to Mr. Nico for to use marks when the lift our house is removed to change it every 4 hours. I mean, need to change every 4 hours. So better is change what marks?
Yes, you can change. You bring two masks usually. If you work in the office, you can bring two masks. The 4 hours for the first mask, and the second is for the second mask. Like 4 hour after 4 hours, you can change the mask. I think effective, but I usually wear only one because sometimes in the office, my office always clean. The housekeeping always clean everything must be clean, and then I open my mask in my office. But when I go outside, I wear my mask again. usually. But if you have if you're in your office there are a lot of people, I think better you wear the mask, yeah, the whole day, and you change every 4 hours is better, is healthy. Like
So
that.
it means we need to change within 4 hours, and when we need to outside like within 12 hours, we need to bring 3 marks. Okay,
I think
that's
so.
quite good for me
Yeah.
also. Thank you
If
very
you need
much.
to save yourself, I think every 4 hours or 3 hours you should change. If you use the medical mask, right? But if the doctor or the nurse meet another patient, I think every patient you need to change usually. Yeah.
I
For example,
understand, sir.
you control the one patient, and then a new one again, you need to change the mask. You change because last month I went to the hospital for the medical check, and the doctor after my wife come to the room, and the doctor and the nurse change the mask again for me, and then
So
for the
it's mean
medical mask.
okay, so it's mean everything depend on the condition, right? If you
Yes, that's right.
in a crowded people, you need to change
It's
every
crowded.
4 hours. And when we need to come like to hospital that have infected, we need to change in every single patient that we meet.
That's right. That's right. Must be clean.
Must be clean
Yes,
to
the
prevent
room
the
must be clean.
transmission also.
That's right.
We still have once again. Wow, everyone interesting with you, Mr. Nico. So
Thank
this
you.
one, I want to ask Mr. Nico, are there any victims in the health personnel there? Like victim?
What is it? The victim, what does it mean? Are there any victim in the health personnel?
Uh, what the victim? Wait.
I mean that you mean that the
confirmed
case?
person maybe, sir.
Oh,
Confirmed person.
I see. In Thailand, until now, around 148 confirmed active case, around 3,200 something or 300 something already recover. So in Thailand only, yeah, spread the Thailand, not only in Bangkok, around 148. Usually they come from abroad and they have the isolation, quarantine, and they check with a swab PCR, and they can find there is the case. There is a case again. Because in the local, I think there is no local here. Since July, there is no local case, only imported case. Like people come back from abroad, usually they got infected.
So if I go to Thailand, maybe I will be the victim also, right?
Yeah, well, possible, depend on your flight.
It's possible. Okay. Okay, it looks like we answered all the questions, Mr. Nico. Is there anything else would you like to mention?
I think no. If there is a question, I'm ready to answer again.
Okay. Okay, it's enough for you, Mr. Nico. Of course, if I have a question, I will asking you directly also. Thank you, Mr. Nico.
You're welcome.
And we have another question also. We will share in on share screen. And this question will be for Miss Kati. We come back, Miss Kati. And then, how can we keep socializing with other people during a pandemic?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Aulia, Aulia, yes. Okay, how to keep socializing during this pandemic? Today, technology is so interesting for us. We can use technology to make someone far away from us to get them closer. But doesn't mean that we are making a gap with someone near with us. It means that get close to everybody and make sure that we build a huge of social support. The social support is essential for helping us to cope with stressor, of course. If you have so many people who are ready to hear you, then I think every problem you can solve it with smoothly, I think. So, I mean, even you have a lot of stress, or when you have social support enough for you, you will be okay then. I think that's my explanation about keep socializing. Miss Liana, are you there? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Kati for the nice answer. And then we have a next question also. This one for you again, Ms. Kati, is how can keep socializing that you already answered? Another question maybe? Okay, even before the pandemic, many people experienced stress. So it was possible for them to write something they talk about on their social media because they thought that uh, okay, because they thought this was adaptive coping effort. How do you respond to this phenomenon and that often occurs now, and including how to create the right adaptive coping, how to solve this stress everyone writing in social media about COVID right now?
Okay, thank you, Miss Liana. Actually, talking about stress, it's not only because of COVID, of course. Every human being experiences stress. So from that sentence, we can make a conclusion that every day we will face stressor, even the stress that is light or hard. If you just say that somebody, maybe they can easily post to their social media about what thinking about, what they're feeling on that day. Actually, in mental health is no black or white thing, or there is no right or wrong about taking action. But each individual has their own coping mechanism to facing the stressor. As long as it is not too much, I think it will be okay. But it will be a problem if you then addicted to uploading or telling anything in social media. I just suggest as a mental health nurse, maybe it is better for us to find social support. You might find it in your family member, your closest friend. I think it will more safe for us to telling about our feeling, our problem, without make ourselves as embarrassed or something else. Because if we talking in social media, it means that we have no secret anymore. So there is no private again in our lives. So I think private is a basic need for us now. So I think better for us to find social support. Maybe we can find it in our family members or in our closest friend. Building social support is better. It will help us to cope with our problem. I think that's my answer, Ms. Lianawati. Thank you.
Wow, that's good. Everything will be problem if too much, right?
Yes.
It's will too much, but social support will help us for everything right now. And we still have one question again for you, Miss Kati, but I will reading because it's quite very long questions from Aprilia Tina Prastiwi from Stikas Mabaul Ulum Surakarta. Here I want to ask you, Miss Kati, in the new normal era, we are final year student or student who are doing field work in the area. Then we meet with family or patient who may not understand the term normal. What is our attitude as a student who have a sense of social interaction, the surrounding environment? But there are people who are antisocial, apathy, and some even have a bad prejudice prejudice against us, even though our focus is to want people to have a more interpersonal skill that are good for their health in the new normal era at this time. Thank you. That's one. and how to like approach someone to understand that we already have a protocol to use it, but people still like underestimate for the student have a health work right now.
Okay, Aprilia. Thank you very much, Aprilia. Well, as I said earlier, that from now on, let us try to be positive. Positive means not about our thinking, but our behavior to try to be positive. If Aprilia said that that people maybe they have their own prejudice, or maybe they are not believing us or something like that. If we face negative people, or maybe Aprilia think that it would be so hard telling that people or to approach that people. Actually, and at the same time, Aprilia has a negative thinking. Okay, so we cannot blame other people to be positive, because we cannot handle the whole thing outside of ourselves. We can handle it, but one thing that we can do is we can handle our mind, our behavior, so that every day we will take positive thinking, and then positive behavior, and of course the stressor will be decreased. So we need to perform. I think, what can we do then to react to that person? As a as a health practitioner, we can perform our best performance, of course, as a health practitioner, as a student. Because what? Because you know that sometimes it is more effective to learn by watching other behavior than speaking a lot. I mean, what I think it will be us as a health practitioner. It will be good for us if we perform our best performance in every day, in our daily habit, so that people, they learn from what we're doing without we speaking a lot, because sometimes speaking a lot mean nothing. People are difficult to hear. People are difficult to hear, but they easy just to copy the habit. So I think what the most effective thing we can do from now in the normal era, just perform as the best you are. If you know that we have to wash our hand, to wear a mask, just doing it. People will automatically copy what we're doing when they trust to us. Just show our best performance. When we do it, people will begin to trust. And when people trust everything we do, they just copying on it. Trust me. You need to practice it on your daily activity, maybe Aprilia. That's it, Miss Liana.
Okay, thank you very much. So we mentioned that everything is depend on what we think, right? And just show in our best perform, and then people will trust to make other people trust with our performer. And then after this, we have a question for Mr. Hirai. But before, it looks like we answered all the question for you, Miss Kati. Is there anything else would you like to mention about this?
No, thank you. Just stay hold for everyone.
Thank you very much for the nice conversation. And then we next question for Mr. Hirai. Actually, I'm a little bit like curious, Mr. Hirai. How can I call you Mr. Hirai or Mr. Naotaka?
Just a moment.
And then this question for you, Mr. Naotaka. I want to ask question for Mr. Nahirai Naotaka because Japan has the highest proportion elderly citizen of any country in the world. What are the effective first aid to solve mental health problem caused by pandemic COVID-19 for the elderly people in Japan? Is there anything program like from Japan government to help mental health problem in elderly Japan? Thank you.
Japanese government doesn't give the mental health care. Not only money, but also okay. We must support the infection disease control manual from Japanese government. The Japanese government is asking the people to take various measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus infection. However, because it's not enforced, good results have not been obtained. Many Japanese are disappointed with the Japanese government measure. The Japanese are also very sad the coronavirus has postponed Olympics 2020. And it's important for us to prevent the hospital medical staff from being destroyed by the increasing number of patients with coronavirus. The price of infection control products is soaring, so the government sometimes supply facility that lack those products. For example, disposal mask, antiseptic solution. But about mental health, I don't know how to say. To prevent the infection, nursing home, the most important thing is not to bring coronavirus into nursing home. Elderly people living in nursing home are unlikely to get the coronavirus because they rarely go out of the nursing home. However, staff, home health service, and the elderly people in daycare center live in the normal societies. In order for them not to get infected, it is necessary to prevent the infection and not to go out as much as possible. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Naotaka. So it means the preparation for medical staff and also give the facility and also about health service. They mentioned that make people understand that not really go outside that much. So only go outside from home or leaving home just for necessary things. So right now for everyone, we appreciate if you would like fill out the attendance and evaluation form provided by link on sharing screen. And also we already share also in the beginning and we will share again. This one, the evaluation form, you can filling out first and we will evaluate it within 1 hour. Okay, we have next question again for Mr. Naotaka. When are Indonesian migrant workers allowed to work in Japan again? So not only like worker, I think student also. Can I go to Japan for my next? Yes. Thank you.
I hope near future.
Near future. So at least what time? 1 year, 2 year?
Maybe 1 year.
Maybe 1 year. I hope it's really exactly 1 year, no more.
I hope too.
Okay. And then we have a next question. So while waiting the next question, like I want to share something for you, Mr. Naotaka. Like actually, not only Japan, we like it's difficult for us to go outside or overseas right now. Like even Taiwan or a lot, or even Thailand, like Mr.
Yeah.
Nico, right? Indonesian is quite very hard to go. We need to pay like very expensive insurance and everything to be hard right now. And right now, the next question for Mr. Naotaka.
Mhm.
Okay. What is the most important thing to do as a nurse in Japan hospital to prevent from COVID-19 pandemic?
I already show you. I have to do two-way and sorry. Sorry. Precaution, two-way precautions. We have to do, and but we cannot stop. Just stop. Go out to go out because Japanese government only request. So we have to follow the government. We can say, please, only please. Cannot say stop to go out. So we have to request, only request, not to go out. Don't go out at the night, and we have to do not to be in. I don't know how to say. Sorry.
Like limited time to go outside.
Yeah.
So it's mean like even to be nursing, right? To be
not to bring coronavirus into the nursing home. Most important things. Okay.
And then we still have another question for you.
Not to bring.
How take care elderly people in Japan? The question always that, but it's quite interesting. Thank you.
Okay, I will teach you next time in Indonesia.
Wow, because this one is complicated, right? But your presentation before say that talk about elderly is quite complicated and we need more time to talk. I understand. So it's enough for you. Like looks like we answer all the question. Is there anything else would you like to mention, Mr. Naotaka?
I want to ask Mr. Nico Irawan.
I'm sorry?
I want to ask
question
to Nico, Mr. Nico.
Yes, yes, Mr. Yes, it's okay.
Thailand Thailand government has a strong force to citizen. So Thailand can stop increasing patient by coronavirus, but Japanese government can only Japanese government request for citizen for people, but people cannot hear. So now some people go out for sightseeing because Japanese government recommend to go out for sightseeing. That's terrible things. How do you think? because maybe you know, Japanese government want to move economic. Do you understand?
I see. Yeah, I understand.
But still increasing in Japan. So if Thailand government, how I don't know how to say. If Thailand people go out to any place for sightseeing, how does Thailand government do for the people?
Okay, thank you. I will answer. It is interesting questions. First of all, actually, Thailand has the culture, and Thai society, Thai citizen obey for the government, the seniority, and Thai culture with the hospitality and the respectful to all people. And they know that everything they must obey the senior. The government is their senior, and the characteristic of Thai people always respectful. So there is even the government say yes for the new normal. Okay, the Thai people respect for the new normal. If the government say emergency decree, everything stop like a curfew at 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. They obey. They do not break the rule. If they go outside, they must pay 40,000 baht in rupiah, around 20 million, yeah, cash. Or if they cannot pay, they must go to the prison. The police will catch that, oh, you break the rule. So everything is strict here. We cannot say anything is will be danger or something. So must be follow. And this is for social. This is for people here, and make the country very good. The economic will be better and better. But they have the strategy of planning to set up, not directly to new normal, but they check the case first, and then the impact for the, what is it, for the society. Like I read the chat, there is the, what is it, there is the question from one people about the social assistance equally. Thai government still respond, still give the social assistance around 5,000 baht, 5,000 baht. I think in a month, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is several months ago. 5,000 around, if multiplied by 5,000, around 2,500,000 rupiah. Yeah, for per person. Yeah, to get the social assistance. So they, yeah, they give the money, yeah, to help the people, the impact of COVID-19. But now the people can go abroad, not go abroad, can go to local, to other province. And the domestic flight open already. Open already, they can use the flight because we don't have the local transmission, only the import transmission, usually in the quarantine place. So no problem, they can go if they want, and they can use the flight again, but still have the limit. They still have follow the protocol, health protocol. But because of the characteristic of Thai people, follow, obey, and respect, so make this country become better and better. Everything if the government inform like this, but the citizen cannot obey, the same story, still high. Everything must be balanced. The government inform, the society follow, and obey the rule. So everything is better like that. Is my opinion.
Japanese people cannot obey the force of the government.
But actually, when I come to Japan last time, Japanese people is soft and hospitality also, because I went to Fukuoka last time.
Oh, great. But Fukuoka is very, very encouraging patients.
Oh, really? But sorry, I must update my speak that in Thailand the case around 142. Ago I said 148, right? 142, and the death only 58. The death only 58 until now. Yeah, not too many case. I think the active case only 142. Yesterday, the information yesterday. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. How about Indonesia? Do you have a penalty to go out?
Okay.
Yes.
The bad news is, or the good news is, Mr. Naotaka, I think Japan is better than us, and then Miss Kati will be explain more about Indonesian people here, how to obey the government.
Okay, then it is interesting talking about number. Yes, actually talking about number in Indonesia, what should I say? Indonesia has so many people affected COVID-19. And what actually our government, they told us to make a preventative action, but you know, the people, the reaction. So that is maybe why the numbers getting higher and higher. Since its come outbreak until now, Indonesia is still harvesting COVID-19 patients. It's still higher in Indonesia. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. But the most important thing is even we have high number in COVID-19, but we still have optimism that someday, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next of tomorrow, maybe the number will decrease. And we still, as a health practitioner, always do preventative action and educate other people to doing that preventative action. For myself, I don't care if other people will listen or not about what we're talking and we acting to prevent COVID-19. But for me, the most important thing is I am taking action on it, and I am trying to face this pandemic in a right way. And I'm sure that someday people will trust and they will obey their self, and they will automatically do the preventative action. But I don't know whether the number in Indonesia is still high. I don't know. I mean, that's what I can tell you, Mr. Hirai Naotaka. Indonesia is still harvesting until now.
So look, Mr. Naotaka, that's one good news. At least Japan is better than us in Indonesia. And of course, like, I think it's health literacy is everything that we need right now to make understand for everyone that we need to face it together, not only government or not only people, but together, like Thailand. And thank you very much. That's one look like we answer all of the question. Maybe is there anything else we need to discuss, Mr. Naotaka, Mr. Irawan, or Miss Kati? Is enough? Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We finally come to the end of the presentation. We would like to say thanks again for all the speaker, for the informative and interesting talk, and audience for the active participation. We appreciate again if you would like to fill out the attendance and evaluation form provided by link on sharing screen that we shared before and will be evaluated within 1 hour. And we will share again the link for the evaluated. Okay, hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everyone. Keep in touch, and we would like take a picture together in the screen. So keep your smile and sarange. Is it now? Okay, wait a minute. Make sure that we have a nice smile. And then we will share it on YouTube also. So makes everyone know that we like happy enough to do this conference. Okay? 1, 2, and 3. Is it enough? Okay, I hope my picture is nice enough to share it. Okay, thank you very much for everyone. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for the speaker, of course. I hope we can keep in touch after this, and I will give the next session for Mr. Rizky Listianto. Good afternoon, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, okay. Thanks to Ms. Yanawati for guiding today's international webinar. Once again, we are from the committee. We say thank you to Ms. Riani Wulandari, Mr. Suminanto, also for all three speakers, Ms. Norman Wijayagati from Indonesia, Mr. Nico Irawan from Thailand, and Mr. Hirainao Taka from Japan for giving and sharing knowledge and latest information to us. We hope that besides getting the new knowledge, we also get the positive learning from this webinar. Okay, for just a little information to the all participants, to get the certificate for all who has filled the registration and then the initial presents and also for the final presents or evaluation presents. And then if one of that part is not completely filled, so you cannot get the certificate for the international webinar. And when will the certificate give to you? The certificate will give in 1 week or 7 days next. You can download on aiska-university.ac.id. Okay, that's all. So I have a little message to all participants. Don't forget to fight COVID-19, keep social distancing, keep wearing masks, keep healthy, stay safe wherever you are. We are sorry for the mistakes and inconveniences. Let me close the international webinar entitled Strategies to Face COVID-19 Pandemic, Best Practice from Around the World. Thank you so much and see you later. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, for all the participants, you can show your videos. You can take picture from the screen for all audiences. Once again, for all participants, you can take a picture of you. You can show your video in our screen, please. You can start your video. Some picture.
Water, please.
Iya, naikin aja.
Cek. Sini buat partisipasi. Bisa di-share videonya. Kita mau ambil screenshot. Ada ratusan peserta di sini. Oke, terima kasih. Sambil kita tunggu. Harus screenshot ya untuk data kita.
Baju COVID nih ya. Semangat ya.
Okay, thank you for everyone, for all participants, for sharing your video in front of us in committee, so we can take a picture of you as our album here. Okay, thank you for everything.